Imposter syndrome is kind of a sneaky thing. It doesn't show up as fear or hesitation. It shows up as self-doubt, right? What's even more surprising is that people who struggle the most with imposter syndrome are usually the ones who are killing it, who are very capable, high achievers, leaders. Imposter syndrome, it's not a sign that you're not qualified. That's what you kind of think it is. It's a sign that you're growing. It's a sign that you're expanding into new territory. It's a sign that you're doing something right, because people who aren't growing rarely have imposter syndrome. Confidence is a skill. It's a muscle. It's a habit. It comes from creating things and wins in your life. It comes from action. People don't follow perfection. They follow certainty. And certainty is created by congruence. Confidence is magnetic. Certainty is influential. And alignment is unstoppable. All right, welcome back to the Daily Mastermind. George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. And today we are breaking down the final day of this foundation we're laying for clarity and confidence to grow your life and business. And I'm doing this week because over the next few weeks, I want to really challenge you to level up into the identity, the clarity, the vision, and the growth that you're looking for. And so on Monday, we talked about creating clarity for your vision. Wednesday, we had this discussion where we talked a little bit about your identity. And then today, I want to talk to you about confidence. And the reason I want to do this is that in today's world, there's so many impressions and noise and things out there. There's a lot to be said for the degree that confidence is going to influence you and your business. Not surface level confidence people put on social media. I'm talking about, the real thing. The deep-rooted confidence that comes from knowing who you are, trusting your ability, leading with certainty, even, when the path ahead is just not clear. And one of the biggest obstacles standing between you and the level of confidence is this idea of imposter syndrome. That quiet voice that says, are you sure you belong here? Are you sure you're good enough? Are you sure you can lead at this level? We all have this. I promise you, I deal with so many entrepreneurs and high-level 7, 8, 9-figure executives that deal with this. But today I'm going to show you how you can break through all that. Why is this happening? How do you build the kind of inner confidence that helps you boldly and decisively grow your business and your career and your life? So let's just jump right into it right now. Imposter syndrome is kind of a sneaky thing. It doesn't show up as fear or hesitation. It shows up as self-doubt right in the moments when you should be stepping up. It sort of sneaks in there, right? You land a big opportunity and suddenly the question is, do you deserve it? You succeed at something and your brain starts saying, man, you got lucky. Or you're asked to lead, or you get some kind of positive response and you wonder why they chose you. What's even more surprising is that people who struggle the most with imposter syndrome are usually the ones who are killing it, who are very capable, high achievers, leaders. They push for growth and the people who break patterns. But when you evolve beyond where you are or where you've been, this is when your identity hasn't had time to catch up with you. And that creates a gap. And that gap is where your imposter syndrome lives. I've been there many times in my life. So here's what most people don't realize. Imposter syndrome, it's not a sign that you're not qualified. That's what you kind of think it is. It's a sign that you're growing. It's a sign that you're expanding into new territory. It's a sign that you're doing something right, because people who aren't growing rarely have imposter syndrome, and people who settle never deal with it. So the first thing I want you to understand is that you're not an imposter. You are just uncomfortable because you are expanding and you're being elevated, and you're stepping into roles you've never played, and you're accessing levels that you've never accessed. So you're becoming someone that you want to become that you've never been before. And imposter syndrome doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be doing it. It means you're finally playing at a bigger game. And the key is not to eliminate imposter syndrome. This is the key. So most people try to get rid of it. It's just to stop listening to it, because if you're growing, it's always going to be there. So I want you to think about this idea that confidence is a skill. It's not a personality trait. So let's talk about confidence. Confidence is not something people are born with. It is not a personality trait. It's not just for extroverts or natural leaders. Confidence is a skill. It's a muscle. It's a habit. It comes from creating things and wins in your life. It comes from action. It comes from living in alignment with the identity, remember, of who you want to be. And if you've ever lacked confidence, it's not because you're not capable. It's because you haven't built the mental references, wins that support your confidence. Every confident person you know has gone through seasons of doubt and uncertainty, but they went and acted anyway. And those actions actually create evidence that creates more confidence. It doesn't come right out of the chutes. Courage comes first, and then action, and then confidence comes last after you've taken action. And so here's the interesting thing. Confidence isn't about what you've done. And this is a really important piece because I think, I'm a big believer in stacking wins, like Alex Hormozy talks about. Stack your wins. It'll build your confidence. I totally think that'll happen. But it's not about what you've done. It's about who you believe you are. When your identity is aligned, your confidence is a natural byproduct. Does that make sense? Like the vision of who you want to be and who you are, that's why the biggest confidence killers are comparing yourself to others, or seeking validation, or focusing on your weaknesses, or waiting for perfection, or doubting your progress. That's what destroys your confidence. But, leaders don't build confidence by comparing themselves. They build it by aligning with their purpose, values, growth, and vision. And confidence is created when you say, I trust I can make it happen. I know I can figure it out. I know I can lead through uncertainty. And leading with certainty is not about having all the answers either. It's about, think about that. It's not that you have the answers. It's that you believe you can figure out the answers. That's where confidence starts to grow. So there's this framework I learned a while back called the Confidence Code. It's a sort of a 3-part framework. Let me just give you this confidence code framework, or whatever you want to call it, that you can start using today to build unshakable confidence. Part 1 is acceptance. Acknowledge the doubt without identifying with it. Acknowledge the doubt without identifying with it. Confidence doesn't start with pretending that you're fearless, acting as if, like you would hear. It starts with accepting that doubt, fear, and uncertainty are part of the journey. And when you acknowledge that doubt that you have without internalizing it, it just takes its power away. Instead of saying, I'm not ready, say, I feel uncertain, but that's okay. So instead of saying, like, I don't belong, say, I'm expanding into new territory. Acceptance is the first step in breaking the cycle of self-doubt. The second part is alignment. You've got to act from your future identity, not your past experience. This is where people really struggle. When you align your decisions with the person you want to be, your confidence will grow. In other words, don't make decisions based on where you are or who you think you were. Make decisions based on the person that you want to become, and your confidence will grow. So ask yourself, how would a confident person speak? How would the leader that I'm going to be show up? What decisions align with my next level? And when you take action aligned with your future identity, your brain begins to recalibrate. It starts building the belief that this is who I am now. And that belief becomes the foundation of confidence. So acceptance, and then alignment. And then the third part is, you guessed it, action. You got to create small wins that build confidence. You got to stack the wins. Confidence grows through action, not big action, consistent action. So when you create small wins, you build references. Those references build up, and your brain builds certainty. And when your brain builds certainty, your confidence goes up. So even a small commitment, waking up early, making a call, finishing a task, it becomes evidence for your brain. And that's why I always say you can't think your way into confidence. You have to act your way into confidence. Let me say that one more time. You can't plan or think your way into confidence. You've got to act your way into confidence. Confidence is built, not born. And building is completely in your control. So that's the 3-part framework. You got to create awareness. You've got to align yourself with the future version and then take action based on that. So let's talk about what it means real quick to lead with certainty, and then I'll let you go for the day. Notice I didn't say lead with perfection. I didn't say lead with total clarity, all the answers. I didn't say lead with total knowledge of what's coming next. Leading with certainty. Leading with certainty means leading from presence, conviction, and responsibility, not ego. Leaders who lead with certainty do this. They trust their ability to adapt. I know I can figure it out. They take ownership of their decisions. They communicate with clarity. They stay grounded in their values. They move forward even when they don't feel like it. And they inspire stability around them by being stable. People don't follow perfection. They follow certainty. And certainty is created by congruence. You've got to align what you say, what you do, and your identity. And it's amazing. The more congruent you become, the more certain you have, the certainty you have in your life that you project. And the more certainty you project, the more confident people will follow you. And it has nothing to do with being the smartest person in the room. That only works to a degree. It has everything to do with being the most aligned person in the room. Confidence is magnetic. Certainty is influential, and alignment is unstoppable. And when you're aligned with the future version of yourself, all of those things happen: confidence, certainty, and alignment. So here's the key takeaways. I want you to think about this as you go into the end of the week here. Imposter syndrome is not a sign of inadequacy. It's a sign of expansion. You're growing. It means you're stepping into a new level of your new identity, and that's proof. So imposter syndrome is proof you're making progress. And then second, confidence is not a personality trait. It's a skill that you develop. You don't need to feel confident to act. You act to feel confident. And then finally, leading with certainty comes from leading with identity. When your decisions, your beliefs, and behaviors align with who you're becoming, certainty will become natural. You are capable. You are ready. You are growing. You've joined us on the mastermind. That's the whole reason we do this. And the world needs confident people like you. So that's my message for today. I want you to know that I do appreciate you being part of the community. I want you to know that, there's greatness inside of you. And I believe it's never too late to start living the life that you're meant to live. But remember, clarity is what's going to create your confidence, and confidence comes and creates momentum. And if you stay focused on your purpose and act from your future identity, everything else will start to align for you. And that's the real power of self-leadership. And so I hope those messages will inspire you. Do me a favor and share this show. If you'll share this show, it'd mean the world to me, but I think it'll make a difference for a lot of people that are struggling through things like vision and identity and confidence. And I'll look forward to hearing from you. Hit me up on the Daily Mastermind. Let me know what you're working on. You can head over to Authority Media Network and get your authority score, build your authority in your business. And I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you on Monday.